Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I thought I would talk about some of the Kindle books on my TBR. All of these but one are from KU, but I thought I would show you some of the books on Kindle I want to get to semi-soon. So the first one is the one that's not on Kindle Unlimited, but I am probably going to just suck it up and buy it on Kindle because my library doesn't have it. I don't buy books on Kindle super often, but it is A Nun for the Viking Warrior by Lucy Morris. This is a recommendation from my friend Avery. Ava reads romance on BookTube. I think that's the right username. This is like the 5th video I'm filming, so words are hard. But this is a recommendation because I'm watching Call the Midwife, and there is a plotline in that show where one of the nuns chooses to leave the church, not leave the church, but leave being a nun, and falls in love with the doctor in the show, and they are just the absolute cutest. I love them so much, and I was like so fascinated by this story, by the pining that it created, because she had to make the decision to leave being a nun. And I texted Avery and I was like, do you know any romance books where there's like a nun involved or like something like that? And she came back with this one, A Nun for the Viking Warrior. So I for sure want to read this. This book takes place much earlier in time than Call the Midwife. This, I would believe, is in like the 16 or 1700s, whereas Call the Midwife is in the 1950s. But it's a similar concept-ish. She is about to take her vows, I believe. But then her father arranged for this marriage with this Viking, and she is trying to, at first is like, I'm not going to do this, I'm becoming a nun, and then she starts to fall for him. So I'm very much excited to read this. I think it's going to be such a fun book. It is a Harlequin historical, so not a super long story, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and if Avery loved it, I'm sure I will also very much like it. So the rest of the books on my list are on KU, so if you're interested in any of them, they will be available on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. So next is Dixon by Ivy Smoke. This is the second book in the Hunted series. I read the first one recently, and it's very much like just the most ridiculous drama. It's, it's like a soap opera, essentially, and it was ridiculous, but I loved it, and it ended on a big cliffhanger, so I need to know what happens in the second book. The synopsis for the first one, it's a student-teacher, student-professor romance. She's 19, he's like 27 or something, and they meet first in a coffee shop before they know their student and teacher, and then they meet again when she shows up to his class, and it's just so much fun. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's very much like, gives me the vibes of 50 Shades of Grey, but slightly different context, and it's just fun, and I want to keep reading. I want to see if they get back together, because we're in like the middle of like the mid-scene, mid-story breakup kind of thing when the first book ends, and I need to know what happens, so that's definitely pretty high up on my list. Next is a book I have heard recommended from a lot of people, and that is Thin Ice by Cassie Ment. It is, I believe, like a student coach romance, if I'm not mistaken. She is an ice skater. Is this one the coach student romance, or is this like the partner romance? I'm not entirely sure, but it's a semi-forbidden romance, I know that, and it takes place among like this ice skating competition world. The only thing I know about ice skating is the movie Ice Princess from the Disney Channel, so this is probably much different than that, but I've heard so many good things about this book. I've heard so many people really like it, so I want to give it a try. I've had it rented on KU for like an embarrassingly long time. I just haven't felt like picking it up at all, but it is one that I do see myself reading and probably enjoying, so that is one that I would like to pick up. Next is another recommendation, actually, from Avery. I guess she recommends all my Kindle books. She hauls Kindle ebooks all the time and like reviews them, which is what this video was inspired by. Hi Avery, if you're watching this. So I guess I just have a lot of recommendations from her. This is a novella. It is called The Alien Nanny for Christmas, and I do love an alien romance. I've only read a couple of them, but I've enjoyed all the ones that I've read, so I thought this would be another fun one. This is a very short novella. I think it's only like 70 pages, but the premise is there's an alien and he's going to be the nanny as, like, I believe it was like a gift. He's going to take care of the kids for this lady for Christmas. I believe the other ones are human. And yeah, they fall in love in 70 pages. And that's all I know about it. It's a novella. I should read it soon. Maybe I'll save it for the holiday season. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, I mean, the cover is just ridiculous. This screenshot's really blurry, but it's fun. Next, I have Kingsized by Jessica Cain, which I actually don't really know entirely what it's about. I think it's like a knight, and I mean there's a knight on the cover, so I know it's historical, I'm pretty sure. I actually don't know much what it's about, but it's one that I have seen recommended like time and time again, specifically Jessica Cain. I don't know if I've read a Jessica Cain. I feel like I've read one before, but I've just heard her like recommended a lot. She's very popular, and this is probably one of the most popular books of hers, so I would love to give it a try. Sorry, I don't really know what it's about, but I kind of don't mind going into books not knowing everything that they're about. So next is a Ruby Dixon book. I have read quite a few Ruby Dixon. I very much enjoy her. This is another one a lot of people love, The King's Spinster Bride. I don't know if I'll read this on ebook or if I'll listen to it on audiobook, because I have both of them, but regardless, this one is a woman who has a kingdom and then is like, the kingdom is taken over, and she has to like go into hiding, and then she comes back, I believe, to try and claim her kingdom. I think that's the general plot. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a romance between, I think, who took over the country, or maybe it's like a guard or something. I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering plots, but this is another one I have heard so many good things about. Like, I love Ruby Dixon. I think she's so much fun, and this book has a 4.5 average rating on Amazon, which is really, really good for star rating, and I just don't know if I've ever heard anyone say anything bad about this book. I think it looks like so much fun, and I very much look forward to reading it when I'm in the mood for more of a sci-fi book. Next, I have one that blew up on TikTok quite a while ago, but I still haven't read it, and that is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is such an interesting premise to a story. I very much want to pick this up. I don't know when, but it was really popular like the end of last year or so. It is about a guy who owns a theme park, and so he's like a multi-bajillionaire or something, and it's about his romance with, I actually don't know who the heroine character is in the story, but everyone's like kind of saying it's like smutty Disney World, sort of. Like, it's very much inspired by like someone who would love Disney, and they love romance, and I love both of those things, so I just think it sounds like so much fun to have this kind of made-up world where there's this different theme park, and to see the person who owns it and to see how it's run from the top like that. I just think it sounds like so much fun, and I feel like most of the books that I've read because of TikTok I really have liked, so I'm excited to give this a try as another TikTok read. At this point it's ancient history in terms of TikTok, but I will get to it eventually. And lastly on my list is actually a recent addition to my TBR, because I read the first one and I would absolutely love to continue the series. The series is Vampire Knitting Club by Nancy Warren. The second one is Stitches and Witches. I read the first one in September and I just really, really loved it. It wasn't like my favorite book of all time, but it was just so much fun, like so lighthearted, and you just wanted to keep reading. I very much want to pick up the sequel like very soon, because the magic and the setting was just so magical. The magic was magical. But I really did love the characters, and I'm very excited to see them develop more. I think the first one was very much an introduction to the possibility of what this world could be. And yes, they're cozy mysteries, so they're always going to be on the lighthearted side, which I like very much. But there was a lot of opportunity to grow, like, as characters and everything, and kind of develop personalities a little bit more. And I just think it'll be really, really interesting when I do continue the series, and get to know the characters more, and get to see more into the magical world of the vampires and the witches, and see if there's maybe anything else roaming around in this magical version of Oxford. So this is probably, of all the books on this list, this will probably be the first one that I pick up, because I did enjoy the first one so much, and I've honestly, like, today, all I've been thinking about is possibly picking up the sequel soon, but I want to finish my current read first. But I am still overall very much looking forward to the rest of this series. So those are just a couple of the books on my Kindle ebook TBR. There are so many possibilities of books that I could read. I do have Kindle Unlimited, so who knows how many of these books will actually get read, or if I'll pick up different ones, who knows. But I wanted to share some of the books that I have recently been putting on my TBR and thinking about reading sometime. I did get a new Kindle this year, so I think I should do some more reading on it. Of course I got the Kindle, and then they announced a brand new Kindle like a month or two later, but whatever. So those are all my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this video. I upload booktube content every Sunday, so if you enjoyed this, make sure you come on back, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!